Thanks everyone for coming. My name is Sean Kingsley. I work for Enduro. I've been working on this company and project since 2019. This is a very special project. It's in the Golden Triangle. It's actually in the heart of the Golden Triangle. And it is a project that's been underlooked. The last company that held it for about 20 years. They barely did anything. So when we made a deal with them in 2018, we've made many discoveries already. I will be making forward-looking statements. You can read this on our website. This will not be a traditional presentation. This is more of a story. The story of Enduro is way too long to tell. If you have time, I can definitely go through it. It'll take maybe an hour or two. I can definitely provide you with those times, but it is worth listening to. Highlights. We put our own money where our mouths are. The CEO has invested over $2.6 million in the market and in private placements. His average cost is about today's market price. Rob McEwen also invested a large amount of money as well. Like I said, we're the largest shareholder, or largest landholder in the Golden Triangle, in the center as well. What's more important is we're arc parallel to some of the biggest deposits in the Golden Triangle. We're actually applying modern exploration. We use the newest technologies available. Our team is very well versed in hyperspectroscopy. We use proprietary 3D systems, and we are very quickly zoning into what we believe are some very, very important discoveries in the Golden Triangle. We spent 3 seasons so far systematically exploring. We're heading into our 4th season, and we believe this is a season that's really going to open things up. We've pretty much held the same market capitalization throughout the last 3 seasons. Just if you guys remember GT Gold took a few years to get things in order before they made their copper porphyry discovery. Same as Great Bear. Great Bear was sitting around 30 cents for many years before things really started to click. We believe we're right about on that stage. And this year we're drilling. In the last 3 seasons we drilled 18,000 meters. This year we're drilling at least 20,000 meters in one single season. We are really going to go at it. We had a call with Robert Friedland in December, and excuse my French, but he says just drill the F out of it. That's what the market wants. That's what the market needs to see what we actually have here. So, and lastly, we're probably one of the largest landholder in the Golden Triangle, not really influenced by the majors. There's a lot of activity in the Golden Triangle, over $5 billion worth of transactions, M&A, etc. has happened in the last 4 or 5 years. We're one of the last untouched. Every single financing we've done personally. We've never brought a brokered financing in. We've raised the money with some very key people that could understand the technical merits of this project to date. And I will mention we also are closing an $11 million financing tomorrow. Like I said, I'm available. My calendar is set up. You can go to this link right here and literally spend as much time with me on this project as you like. It's set up to my calendar, so I'm free whenever the calendar says I'm free. 6 days a week, too. Location. Obviously, the Golden Triangle. I don't have to tell you guys too much about it. This is the map of the Golden Triangle. Like I said, $5 billion worth of M&A and transactions has happened in the last 5 years. A lot of majors coming in. A lot of majors are sniffing around, too. Majors you've probably aren't even involved anywhere in North America. They are really interested in what's going on in the Golden Triangle, not just for the gold, but for the copper and for the silver as well. I will mention, you can see I don't have a pointer. I do have a pointer, but I can't. But hydroelectric facilities are right on the border of our property. We have access roads on the top and the bottom. Literally, infrastructure in the last 5 years have increased tremendously. So if you're not looking at the Golden Triangle, now is the time to do so, because there's still a lot to discover, and we're going to be one of those companies that is going to prove that fact. Our property is now owned 100%. We just finished that in February. We're entering into our 4th season. We just raised or are closing $11 million as of tomorrow. I can't see that because of the timer, but essentially we're in Canada, of course. We've invested a lot of money into this company personally. We have 4 different systems. I'll go through that really quickly, but there's really not enough time to go through it. This is just an endowment in the Golden Triangle. There's that much minerals that have been identified, discovered, and produced within the Golden Triangle alone. And with the glaciers receding, in the last 5 years, over 4 kilometers of glaciers have receded just on our property alone, which have, I'll show you a picture of what we're walking on that nobody has ever walked on before. This map is probably the most important map in our presentation. Each of those circles are what we call equal area. I call this a pizza theory, where it's a pepperoni pizza. Each pizza slice has millions of meters of drilling and multi tier 1 assets that have been discovered, are in development or in production, or have been in finished production. But the reason why we put this slide together is because our circle of interest, which is almost as large as our property, has only 30,000 meters of drilling in its entire history when we took over this project. In the last 3 years, we've drilled 18,000 meters, and this year, like I said, we're drilling 20,000 meters. We know exactly where we're going, and we believe what we're going to be hitting, and just from the initial results of the last 3 seasons, it is truly a special project that just keeps on giving. Tahltan First Nation is really important. They're very pro-business. Murray Pezim, if you guys don't recognize him, he's notorious or infamous here in Vancouver. He was involved in hundreds of deals, but one of the most important ones was SK Creek, which Skeena is putting back into production. This camp that I'm showing you right here is our camp. This was Murray Pezim's team's camp back in the heyday in the late 80s. We salvaged this camp. The former operator of this project for 20 years never used it, so we salvaged his airstrip, his everything. We're really fortunate enough to have it because it's really in between 2 U-shaped valleys, which make logistics on getting equipment in very easy and efficient. This is Skeena, which is our friends. They're putting SK back into production. Infrastructure's in place, like hydroelectric facility. That's where our border of our project is. It's just crazy. I don't have to go through this. I've already mentioned this. Rob McEwen with a mustache. You probably never saw that picture before. He's invested over $2.5 million into the company. His average cost is above today's market price. He spends a lot of time with us. Prior to him investing all that money, he spent over 20 hours with him and his geologist looking at our project and technical merits. So if he vets it and his team vets it, it's a good project. Our CEO's invested, like I said, I've invested more money I've ever invested in anything in the last 15 years. We're going to write a book about this one. I can guarantee you we'll write a book about this one. If I have enough time with any one of you, you'll understand why. Like I said, we're closing $11 million financing. And why are all these people involved? And why are some of the smartest financiers invested into our deal? Well, we have the scalability. We have the position of the project. We are very true to systematic exploration. We do things right, and the majors love that. We spend a lot of time with them as well too, updating them. Results are high grade. Everything starts from surface. 4 different systems on our project all start on surface. This is our project from west to east. Essentially, we have a calcic copper gold porphyry system called Burgundy 72. We hit a discovery hole last year, 331 meters of 0.7% copper equivalent. That is on the edge of the system. We know it's distal from the center of the porphyry because the zinc and silver values are still very high. We know where we're going to go this summertime, and if we hit what we believe we're going to hit, this truly can be a very popular and famous discovery at Burgundy. So that's our main focus. Maclymont is a gold system, historic resource that they couldn't figure out. We figured it out 3 years ago. We're hitting 9 meters of 31 grams, 150 meters away from the historic resource, and all step outs all in between are hitting high grade gold from surface down to depth. A lot of visible gold. The other 2 systems are earlier stage, but could be our aces up our sleeve. Literally, as I said in the beginning, we're walking on this. Like when we flew over Burgundy, this is Burgundy outcrop right here. When we flew over, you can see it from the helicopter, but imagine 10 years ago, the glaciers were covering this area completely. That's non-oxidized copper. Well, that's oxidized copper that's not rusted yet because the sun hasn't had enough time to shine on it. But literally, we're walking all over this area right here. It's very high grade. This is our discovery area, Burgundy 72 down to the south part. That is a discovery hole, ladies and gentlemen. Within that was 140 something meters of 1% copper. Dr. Alan Wilson, which is the #2 porphyry expert in the world, was on site with us last year. He was supposed to go up to Galore Creek as well as Red Chris. He only came to our site for 2 weeks. But he said a discovery hole in a Kallak copper gold porphyry system is 100 meters of 1%. We're beating that. And that's just on the edge of what we believe is a long system, which is at least 2.3 kilometers. To give you a scale, I don't have time, but Galore Creek couldn't fit the scale targets of that area. This is Galore Creek. I'm not going to go through it, but that's the size of Galore Creek on top of our target area. And on the left-hand side is all the comparisons, scientific plus data-driven, that we can start to compare our target area to something like Galore Creek. Obviously, they got 1,000 plus holes. We got 12 holes. So lastly, our gold area, a lot of uncut core we found when we first stepped on this property. We weren't excited about the gold area until we saw this uncut core. A lot of visible gold outside of the historic resource, which they never even identified. You can see the density of drilling in the historic area. As we started stepping out north, we're stepping out 50 to 80 meters, and we were literally hitting 9 meters of 31 grams at depth, where we expected it to be. I'm not going to go through this. I'm already out of time. But yeah, pretty much this is like this project. There's too much going on. It's 650,000 or 65,000 hectares in the heart of the Golden Triangle that hasn't been explored really in using modern age technology or exploration systems. We got a lot going on, but this summer we are definitely going to go after #1 targets, and hopefully the market's going to react in a positive way. I did put some presentations over there. I got a booth 1, 2, 3. I love to chat. I love to chat a lot. So feel free to come by and ask me anything. And yeah, thanks everyone.